Welcome back, everybody, to ASUN Show post week 8. Just finished our ASUN CFC Challenge, our last out of conference game of the season. This week we have a special guest, Chatty, the infamous Chatty. Welcome to the show.
Howdy, partner.
And howdy.
Howdy.
We can get right into last week's games.
Yes, we got a lot of them to go through. So, first one is Campbell and Wofford, the game of the week. And it was a little bit of disappointment for Campbell. He lost 37-27. So, good team in Wofford. He just got out to the early lead in the second and was able to keep it up throughout the rest of the game. It was, let's see. Yeah, turnover for Campbell. Looks like it hurt him, and then just wasn't able to get a ton going on offense. 150 less yards about. So, tough one for Campbell. Probably drop him to around 20, I guess.
I don't know. His metrics look pretty good.
Maybe a little lower, depending on how kind.
I think he'll stay pretty high. His metrics look pretty good, even at 5-3.
Yeah, but also, if we're talking about coaches poll, I don't think most voters look at the metrics. They're just going to see number 11 losing to an unranked team and probably drop them to around 20. At committee rankings, he'll probably still be top 18 or so, maybe a little higher. So, but I was thinking coaches poll.
Yeah.
So that kind of coaches poll kind of doesn't matter now that we should be getting committee rankings soon. So that'd be nice. But yeah, tough loss for Campbell. Hopefully he can bounce back this week.
Yeah, this is a tough game. You know, it's kind of classic Campbell. He was drifting a little bit too far away from average, and I guess he got yanked back. But it's not the worst loss in the world. Wofford's been one of the better CFC teams this season, and you know, look at them now. They're 5-3. You know, sharing a record with some pretty good teams out there like Campbell and Yale and Northern Iowa and all that. So, you know, it's definitely a setback, but it's a tough game. One he'd like to have back, but I'm sure it's good.
I was keeping a close eye on this game, and Campbell almost came back to win it. It was actually a really good game. I had been originally scheduled to play Wofford, and I'm really glad I didn't have to play them. But I don't think Campbell will drop pretty far.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and Wofford is actually a coach that we did blind resumes on ASUN Show, and a lot of teams were not hot on Wofford. So this is a pretty big statement win in order to get back into the playoff conversation. Good on Wofford for finding a way to beat a ranked team.
Awesome.
So next we'll have the Ampersand Bowl. This one was slow starting, slow finishing game. Never got out of the first quarter. I think I ended up losing the yardage battle, 78-47. Ended up getting two dogs, and the way he scored was I forced a punt in the first drive, fumbled the punt inside my own 15, and ended up scoring. So kept it spicy throughout the whole week, but wishing I could have gotten some more game time out of my Ampersand brother or sister. But you know, just the way the Ampersand falls sometimes.
Yeah, bunch of slow games this week. Kind of hurt us. Well, it's just not a ton of exciting games. Some slower games that took forever. So nice win. You know, they're win in the column, keep the win streak going, but disappointing that couldn't finish.
Just try to avoid disaster.
Yeah. Yeah, this is, like you said, this is the first of one of the many games that didn't get very far. So instead of actual game discussion, I'll just I'll just offer a crappy pun and say the M comes before T in the alphabet. So what did we really expect? And I'm sorry for that.
Yeah.
Cool. I guess we'll move on. Our next game featured the only ranked opponent, the only ranked team in the CFC, the Western Carolina Catamounts, out of Colloe, North Carolina, nestled in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Western North Carolina. They have a pretty campus, kind of like Appalachian State, but they got whooped this week by Turk and Alabama State. Alabama State's 0-4 in conference this season, so it's definitely, after a strong start, been rough. But this was sort of a catharsis here for Turk. Just a really big stress reliever. 48-29, just kept the points coming. Western Carolina had the lead near halftime and looked like they could stay on top, but just couldn't get anything going in the second half. And Alabama State pulled the big upset that was actually in favor of the ASUN. So big win here. Really proud of our conference comrade here.
Yeah, this was textbook Turk. Turk is, like I said, he's an enigma. We never know which one he's going to see, and he usually tends to ball out in out of conference games. And he's always been known to take down at least one ranked opponent during the year. And this time it happened to be Western Carolina. It's tough to see CFC's one of their biggest contenders fall to a really not great out of conference loss. But as an ASUN commentator, really happy to see Turk get this big win under his belt.
I was really happy to see Turk pull away from this one. Just saw that he was going to win. He really earned this win. And it's nice to see him win because he hasn't been able to do that a lot lately. And I'm making terrible commentary, and I'm really sorry. Oh, my God.
It's all right. We're just talking about fake football, so it doesn't matter.
Didn't Turk start off 2-0? So that would mean 5 straight losses. No, yeah, this was a nice win for Turk. Statement that they're not out. They can still win some games. I think 0-4 in conference, it probably puts them out, technically. But you still got to worry about Turk down there. He will win some games, and he will ruin someone's chances to make the playoffs. So keep an eye out for him. He's still going to slay some giants. So next game is Bethune-Cookman beating North Carolina Central 24-22. So I said no team will go 8-0, and now there's 2. So that was a great prediction on my part. But yeah, Bethune-Cookman picks up another win for us in out of conference, 4-0 out of conference. So that's nice. But yeah, Bethune-Cookman's still rolling. We'll see if they can not slide like they did last year. This upcoming week is where they started to slide last season. But they get a chance to Pele has a chance to redeem himself, and we'll see what happens. Great win for him.
Yeah, this is a game that was highly touted at the beginning of the season, and it kind of fizzled now with 4 straight losses from Juni. But I'm sure they had fun. I know those are 2 guys that try not to take themselves too seriously, and it was dicey there in the end. It seemed like for Pelo, but all you got to do is win in this game. If you're undefeated, you don't have to worry about style points. Just win, and that's what he did.
Yeah, exactly. This was a game that a lot of people had circled on the calendar beginning of the year. 2 playoff teams from last year. Juni on a bit of a slide. The CFC a little bit lost right now, I would say. No really definitive leader, I could say, is somebody who's going to run away. With the best record in the conference, so it's tough to see. If you want to really up your rep as a conference in this game, you got to beat you got to slay some giants, as Slow said, and this would have been an opportunity. But close game nonetheless. Could have one onside kick away from making it a game. But good on Pelo for doing what he could to walk away with the dub.
I think this game actually really hurt CFC's chance for a couple of at-large bids for the playoffs, because I think Western Carolina is really going to be their auto bid, and if Junie had been able to win this game, he may have had a shot at getting in with a win over the number one team. But Palo did a good job out there this last week.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. You have opportunities for statement wins, and when they're there, you got to take them. And yeah, that was one opportunity there.
Yeah.
I guess we'll move on to the next game, and this is going to be Chatty can tell us a little bit about that one.
About the first half of the game, for as long as y'all want, we glossed over the end of it. But I was dominating CSU very early on. It was the easiest I've ever played a game. Like, it was just rolling, and then he just turned it in, like, just turned on in the second half. So it was a pretty fun game towards the end. I mean, that's about it.
Can you tell us what that two is in the fourth quarter?
Yeah,
that sticks out like a sore thumb.
Oh, I don't remember what happened, because I think he punted. Oh, yeah, he punted it, and he got me stuck down at the 1 on a punt, I think it was, and then I don't remember what happened.
You got a safety on him. Did you back him down?
No, I have a terrible short-term memory.
Hey, you're just trying to survive, I guess. You don't remember it. That's fine.
Take it out, you can get it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wait, let me scroll through my Discord or Reddit notifications.
Yeah, CSU is the conference champion for the CFC last season, so this is a big win here, and they have a shot at winning their conference and possibly making the playoffs because they're 4-0 in conference. So this is a big statement win for the ASUN and a big statement win to keep you in the hunt for an at-large bid, Chatty, I believe. So, yeah.
I agree. Yeah, throwing it back to ASUN or Shiner Shade last week. Chatty was in their blind resume team that a lot of people were high on. And, obviously you're not going to, in the blind resume, you weren't going to see that you beat Charleston Southern. But that's a good win. That's a good statement win versus a coach that's pretty tenured, conference commissioner, conference championship game player last year. So, big win. This is one that I think you're going to look back on. Could be a turning point to start a run toward the end of the year.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, do you want to say something?
Good win for Chatty. Another out of conference win, and that just helps boost your resume because CSU is a decent team. So great job keeping that lead, not letting them storm all the way back. They got close, but not quite there. So yeah, nice win, keeping yourself alive.
I found that what happened, he stuffed me at his 1 yard line, which he did several times, just stuffing me when I needed a first down in the fourth quarter. And then he forced me to fumble towards the end. He was doing a really good job on defense at the very end of the game. Honestly surprised I didn't blow it.
Yeah, he's a good coach. Wins. Yeah.
He definitely held on for it.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we have possibly the slowest game to never dog. Eastern Tennessee State versus Western Illinois. The game finished with, I believe it finished with 1 drive. You might have to look into all the details here, but when I'm looking at the stats here, I see ETSU finished with 0 total yards, 7 seconds time possession. Not totally sure the ins and outs here, but Western Illinois finished 70 yards, 1 drive, 1 touchdown. I guess that's all we really needed in order to walk away with a win. It's tough to see a lot of people on the show in particular were high on Nutt at the beginning of the season. Season's not really going the way he wanted to, and the division is very quickly slipping away from him. So hopefully we can see him turn around and at least finish with a couple conference wins before tuning up for next season.
Yeah, watching this over the course of the whole 10 days, it was a miracle there was not a delay game in here. It's just kind of shocking how little this game was played. But whatever's going on in real life, I wish the best. This is just a bizarre result here. But Yeah, not much to say.
Yeah, I don't know how you don't get out of the first quarter, but also don't delay a game. I don't know how they did that. That's impressive. Yeah, two teams that record-wise aren't very good. I don't know what the expectations for Western Illinois coming into this season was, but Nut had started off good. I think started off 2-0, and it's just slipping away from them in conference play and all that. So sad to see that happen, but he's still a good coach. Can probably get a win or two in the last 4 weeks. Maybe ruin someone's playoff chances. But it looks like it's probably going to be looking ahead next season for Nut and ETSU.
I personally blame Slolo for ETSU's slide. That 1 point win in week 3 was really the dagger that broke his season, I think.
Okay, well, he went for 2. That was his fault. He could have gone into overtime. But yeah, that game was crazy. That was a fun game. But also, I was the one that eked out the win. So, yeah. Speaking of me, I believe my game is next. And this one, okay. So it's kind of my favorite game so far this season from me. Just because of some of the reactions that happened right after it ended. So, first, 2 delayed games before the coin is tossed. So that's fun. But I'm up 16-0. I kick it off, and he immediately runs it back. So now it's 16-6, and he misses the 2-point conversion. So then I get the ball back and do absolutely nothing with it. And so I punt it. And then he delayed games out of the game. He might have done 1 or 2 plays, but he delayed games out of the game. And since the rules are that each team has to have a drive, his kickoff return technically counts as a drive. So we did the bare minimum for a game to count. And Tenny and Jocks' reactions right after that, realizing that it actually did count, was awesome. And yes, I claim this victory because I needed it. My losing streak is finally ended, and maybe I can turn it around in the back half of the schedule. Yeah, this is my win. It might be my favorite win of the season. I don't know. But yeah, I don't think we made it halfway through the first quarter, so that was fun.
It goes to show all you have to do sometimes is just show up. You don't even have to do anything right. You can be a complete disaster, but all you have to do is show up, and if the other person doesn't, you win.
Yep. Yeah, and at the end of the season, this could end up being a bigger win than anticipated. Furman is only 1 game back in their division, still 4-4, kind of on a skid right now. But this game could end up being a bigger victory for SLO than originally anticipated. So keep an eye on that and see. This could be a game that gets you in. So Furman was ranked only 2 weeks ago, I think.
I believe they were, yeah. I think their coach jumped to the FBS as well, so that may have had a factor in all this. I just remember that, yeah. But yeah, they were ranked. Mm-hmm.
I think I went against Furman last season as well, like week 1. So okay. I've had a little series going against them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was a funny game afterwards.
Yeah.
I think it should be up for game of the year. We did the bare minimum. And it was awesome.
Oh yeah. All right, we'll move on to the next game. Not a good result for the ASUN. The Elon Phoenix took down Purple and the Dolphins 60-24. This game, I believe, finished in the first week of action, and since it was a holiday weekend, I didn't get to pay attention to it as it happened. But I know that Jacksonville had the lead at half, and I felt really good. Elon has had the opposite of a storied history in FFCS. I believe they're one of the more forgettable teams, and a lot of people just are not aware of them. But they have sneakily just had a decent season, and they're now 5-3 in that sort of bubble area where they're alive for some postseason conversation. They really turned it on in the second half, scored 39 points, and just kind of ran away with this. I don't know what happened with Purple here. I think it's just one of those days, and he's had a lot of them. 60-24 is a pretty big statement for Elon, and it's probably the biggest bright spot for the CFC during this challenge. They have a lot to be happy with Elon, and this is just a great game against a team who has a really good win and is better than their record in Jacksonville. So yeah, if anybody else has any further analysis, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, Elon is. Hold on a second. Can y'all hear me? Sorry, lost audio. Yeah, Elon is quietly on a 4-game win streak with victories over Jacksonville, Southern Utah, Davidson, and it looks like Furman as well. So he's beaten the teams he has to beat in order to stay alive in the division. A lot of people were high on him I'm going to keep referencing the Shine or Shade blind resumes. A lot of people were high on Elon, putting them in. It was pretty much a consensus out of all the 4 resumes that I showed. So I'm glad to see a team that's not usually in the spotlight clawing their way back into potential postseason play. And they're definitely in a division where they could win it and steal it from a team that normally would be in that position, but they're not this year because CFC's been down. So big ups to Elon.
Yeah, they're doing pretty good this season. Jacksonville, a little bit of a disappointing season from what we were hoping for. They can, if they win out, they'll only be 6-6. So, yeah. But I think getting a couple wins, especially over some top teams, is a good learning experience. And I think next season, it be a little bit like Stetson. I don't know if I can predict he'll be as dominant as Stetson has been, but it can be like one of those turnarounds where from losing record to really good positive record.
Purple scary.
But yeah, Purple's a little scary. I have to go against him week 12. I'm not looking forward to that. Especially if I'm still alive somehow. He already took down. He already took out Judge. So I'm not excited. It's gonna be a tough game. But yeah, it's tough loss. Another, not like a little bit of a heartbreaking loss, but it was just it wasn't like a last second heartbreaker. It was a second half heartbreaker.
Right.
So we'll just see what happens next season in Jacksonville. Next game is Jacksonville State and Cal Poly.
It was Gardner Webb, actually. Sorry.
Oops.
I had some wrong info.
I'm fired. I'm resigning.
All right. Jacksonville State and Gardner Webb. And Gardner Webb takes the win 31-27 in overtime. Tough loss for Matt. It's going to be really hard getting back into the race, especially if he can't win the division, which is not looking promising with how that division's going so far. So Jacksonville State might miss the playoffs for the first time. So it is a tough one. Was let him come back in the second half and then couldn't finish it out in overtime. So sad one for Jacksonville State, but oh well.
Yeah, this game looked to be in control by the Gamecocks, and then just a field goal and then a touchdown and a 2-point conversion took it to overtime for Gardner Webb. And I feel like we've talked about Gardner Webb a lot. I believe they've had maybe 3 games against the ASUN competition this season, so they're doing pretty well. I think they might be 3-0 against the ASUN teams this season. You might want to double check me on that, but that's pretty impressive. Yeah, this is not encouraging for Jacksonville State. I know we want to see them return to glory. Thankfully, it doesn't affect the conference record. They're still 2-2 with an outside shot at making some noise. But I love to see overtime games because I feel like they rarely happen. And this was a pretty thrilling game and a great job by Gardner Webb to make the comeback and seal the deal there. So credit to them there.
Gardner Webb is indeed 3-0.
Yep.
So yeah, Gardner Webb could conceivably win the ASUN, but maybe not. But maybe not the CFC.
They beat North Alabama and Jacksonville as well in week 1 and 5, respectively. Oh.
That's great.
Man, it is a cluster up at the top of that North Division right now. 4, 5, and 3 teams, and Western Carolina, Davidson, Elon, and Gardner Webb. So really anybody can walk out of that division. And it seems like the teams who are on top are slipping, and the teams who are on the bottom are making a run. So excited to see how that one ends up finishing up. I know Gardner Webb's coach was a playoff coach from last year, or a division winner from last year in EIU. So always a tough opponent versus a coach that was 1 game away from making the playoffs. So Gardner Webb is a team to be reckoned with and looking to make a move this coming week in the CFC.
The Dawn is not the only division that's messy. But yeah, good win for Gardner Webb.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and move on then. We'll go into my game, Kennesaw State at the Citadel in Charleston. So this had a little bit of a revenge factor for me. I lost in week 2 last season against an active Citadel coach, 22-17, and so I knew that the current Citadel had trouble finishing games, and so I feel like if I can play a full game, I have a good shot to win. But if you don't get many chances in the beginning, if the game moves really slowly, like we've said before, you're going to have some real issues if you struggle out of the gate. Thankfully, I was able to break off a really long run on my first drive and forced a punt, scored another touchdown on the second drive really quickly. Just one of the best starts I've ever had. And then the Citadel just disappeared. So I got 16 more points, winning 30-0, padding my margin of victory, my total margin of victory on the year. I'm the best in the FCS, so I'll toot my own horn there. But not much to say about this game. I took care of business when I needed to, but it wasn't really a test. And I go into a huge game next week against Bethune-Cookman, and I would have liked to have had a full game going into that. But I'll take the result. I'm very happy to be 7-1 and still up high in the minds of the committee. So, just didn't screw up, and that's all I needed to do.
Yeah, I will say that's going to help your continuing, your ever-growing margin of victory lead that I'm pretty sure you have in the entire league, not just in the conference. That's awesome. And this would in real life football be the definition of a trap game, right? 6-1 versus 1-6. You got the number 1 team in the country next week. Very easily could have been a Stetson Presbyterian 2.0 here. Glad you were able to, keep your team focused and not looking forward to the future. So that was a great win. Yeah. All right. Next game we can get into is Mercer South Carolina State. This one had every single offensive mind in the game watching. The first 11 of the first 12 drives in the game were touchdowns, with the 12th being a field goal. The offense was just blowing the doors off in the first half. Like it was 38-42 at halftime. Surprisingly, this game did not finish. Mercer, Rico left some notes in the ASUN channel after this game. He said he never led the entire game with the exception of the very end, after he scored a touchdown, and ended up holding on to the very end, which is kind of crazy to think about in such a high scoring game. He never actually led until the end. 500 yards passing, 550 yards passing, extremely impressive with a pro offense versus a South Carolina State team that was actually making moves early this year. Would have been tricky to lose to a 3-4 but the good coaches find ways to get it done, and Rico did that here with the opportunities he had. He made them count. So good job, Uncle Rico.
Yeah, I'm glad to have our very first live audience member also, Enrico. I'll give him a shout out right now because he's listening to this live. We might need to open up the server to let people listen live, but yeah. So the game ended waiting for a PAT number from South Carolina State on the Mercer go-ahead touchdown. I'm really sad we didn't get to see a fourth quarter because I think it would have been really nuts, just like the first three quarters. And you see a lot of games that are pure offense that are just meme games, basically. A little ingenuine. But I think this was really just a knockdown, drag out, just old-fashioned shootout, just pure offense. And Mercer did a great job, trailed the whole game, didn't give up, didn't do anything like that, just kept plugging away and made up the difference in the end just in time. With a game that didn't go the full four quarters, it was really important that he step up in the nick of time, and he did. So great win, and he really shot up in the composite numbers and the metrics on the Robin sheet this week. He's going to see a big jump in the rankings this week, and he's got a shot to do some real damage as we approach the home stretch of conference play. So Mercer's just having a great season.
It's a shame this game didn't get to finish. But this is a very big one for Mercer. Oh, you hear my voice. I don't like that. This is a big one for Mercer because now he's got a straight shot at the playoffs, just 4 more conference games to get through.
Yeah, I'm going to add this in. I was just going to say, Rico just told us South Carolina State missed submitting the PAT number before the deadline because he was watching Hamilton with his family. And I'm going to say that's pretty honorable, noble reason to miss that number. So
he threw away his shot.
Yeah. He threw away his shot. Oh wow.
Shout out to Hamilton helping the ASUN get another win.
It was just meant to be.
But yeah, nice win for Mercer. Great comeback. Surprised it didn't finish. Usually when you have high scoring games, that's usually the result of people playing fast. But this just wasn't as fast as you think it would be. And so third quarter and but yeah, Mercer should shoot up. I think we're gonna have 4 or 5 people in the top 20. I think it's 4.
Fingers crossed.
I think it's gonna be 5.
I think Chatty's gonna be in there.
Ooh, yeah.
Like me. Coaches in the committee, they don't like me.
We'll see. But I think Chatty will get into the top 25 definitely. I don't know about top 20. We'll see how favorable they are to the ASUN. But yeah, nice win for Mercer. Keep it rolling. Keep himself alive. Even if he doesn't pull out the division, he can still very well in the at-large running. So playoff berth would be nice for Rico. Next game is Arkansas Pine Bluff and North Alabama. Wally turning it around for North Alabama. They're back at 500 and still doing well in the dust. So Wally is making a case for him to. He's gonna challenge Ampersand for that division title. It'll be a fun one. But Wally's still rolling. Nice to see North Alabama turning it around. Great win for him.
Yeah, I'm a really big Samford fan. This coming week, I really need Samford to beat Wally and give me a little bit of breathing room. This is a great win. Wally, Wally's very quietly gotten the job done whenever he needs to get it done this year, and can't really ask much for a new coach and in a conference as tough as this one. So, beating teams has to be at a conference and keeping the games close versus some of the higher powered coaches in this league. So, really looking forward to seeing how his season ends up, and it's going to be a battle tooth and nail down the stretch in this division. So, buckle up.
Yeah, what an effort of sheer will this game was. UAPB is not a great team this season, and they had a 21-14 lead at half, and somehow, some way, the Lions, not of UAPB, but the Lions of North Alabama, score 14 points in the fourth quarter. I believe they did it for Una, their recently passed mascot. They're doing it for the spirit of Una, their former mascot.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Please, yes, R.I.P. And you guys already said it. 3 wins in a row. I feel like North Alabama this season is me last season, so it's really going to be an interesting story. I hope they can keep that winning streak going and can continue to contend in the Dust Division. So this is a good way for them to just keep the juices flowing, keep going on that roll, and take care of business against a lower team.
Yeah. Good win for Wally. Keep it up. It'll be fun to. When's North Alabama versus Alabama?
It's next week. Yeah, it's next week. So week 10. Yep. Ooh. I know. So I need Samford to win this week. That's who I'm pulling for. I'm a Bulldog.
It would have been it'd be awesome. It'd be awesome if it was 12 and you guys were still tied. That would be the best thing ever.
Nervous.
And now I'm just realizing I might hold the balance of all this because North Alabama comes to Kennesaw week 12. So that'll be fun. That'll be fun. We'll talk about it more later, but I think these last 4 weeks are going to be a ton of fun.
You're going to have to weigh your options, Judge. You want to get it?
I need to keep A&M in the basement. So
let me out of here.
All right, we'll move on. The Bulldogs of Samford and Homewood, Alabama, took on Davidson, who had a hot start this season. Started 4-0 and was looking really great, but has since dropped 3 of their last 4. Their latest being this defeat, 35-14 for Samford. Smammy just had it rolling early and really was in control. It was sort of a low-scoring blowout. It was just one of those where he was like a boa constrictor. He just wrapped the Wildcats up and just slowly squeezed everything out of them and ended up winning by 3 touchdowns. Didn't score 101 this time, but he didn't need that. And this is a great rebound. I know he wants to get confidence going back into conference play. I don't know how much he has left to play for, but this is a really good win against the team who start off really hot, has some name recognition of being in the rankings early in the season, but they're definitely struggling on the downswing. We'll have to see how Davidson responds as they go into the back half of CFC play.
Yeah, I definitely got, Samford has had a very exciting, I will say, things going on outside of this game, and I'm happy for them. I definitely got inklings of week 1, dropping 100 bomb in this game versus a team that was a playoff contender last year and still kind of is this year. This is a statement win for the A-Sun, and this could be a catalyst to move Samford in the right direction. He is still alive in the division right now. and I'm really excited to see if he can make some moves, particularly this coming week. But excellent win, and you gotta wonder what the higher powers in the CFC are thinking after a couple brutal losses to teams that they thought that they should beat this week.
Yeah, great win for Samford. A lot of stuff is going to have to go their way that they don't have control over. They want the division. But I think if they win out, they can keep it going. Depending on how their out of conference schedule looks, they definitely have a chance for not. They still have a chance for not large bid. Like, it's not out of the question. 8-4. If some of their out of conference wins look pretty good. But so they still have, they still have stuff to play for. It's good to see them turning around finally after that slide. So back to 500. Then we'll see if they can get back above 500 this week. Both Samford and North Alabama are going to be trying to do that. So we'll see who pulls it out.
They quietly have 2 wins over 2 5-3 teams. They beat Holy Cross in week 2, and they just beat Davidson. So those are 2 pretty solid wins on their resume. See if they can keep it up. All right, and then the last game of the week we'll discuss is Stetson Presbyterian. What can you really say? This probably will go down as the biggest upset in the season, let alone in the history of the FFCS with the way that it happened. Stetson will provide you with her own, recap of the game. She mentioned that the game got started off not in her favor. She punted and then had 2 quick scores for Presbyterian in the first quarter, and she got into a style of play that made her feel a little more risky than she normally would play, and that's not usually the best way you want to start, especially if you're an option-based team where you kind of want to run the ball down the other team's throat and just kind of ground and pound away. Tough loss here. Presbyterian's first win of the season. Stetson looking for answers right now, especially in a division where you really can't slip up that much if you want to maintain a foothold. Thankfully, it was out of conference, but I know she's looking to make a statement win this coming week versus Rico. So, nothing scarier than a Stetson team that has something to prove.
Yeah, I've been in a situation like that before in one of my games last season where you get behind the 8 ball early and you have to play very aggressive, and it's sometimes you can catch it and sometimes you can't. It was very unfortunate that it came against Presbyterian, and that's just a huge hit, but it shouldn't affect anything as long as the Hatters can keep their mental clarity about them. You just gotta, when you have a game like this, you just gotta flush it, and I hope the Hat does. I hope she's able to get past this and just look ahead. This is a debacle, but everyone has them, and you just got to move past it. So I hope she's able to.
Yeah, 9-3, 8-4. That should be good to get in. So metrics. The committee metrics are probably going to be not very kind with a loss to a 1-7 team, or was 0-7. But they still got a good enough record that if they can get 3 or 4 wins in the last 4 weeks, they'll be fine. They'll be comfortably in. Tough loss for Stetson. I guess looking ahead to back into conference play. So it just shows anybody can be anybody in this game. So tough one for them, but we'll see if they can bounce back.
And I guess that'll close our recap of Week 8. I just want to take a second and recap the ASUN CFC Challenge. So we had 2 games in Week 2 and 12 in Week 8. The ASUN won the challenge 9-5, and we're happy about that. We sort of survived. It was a really fun time. I want to take the time to thank CSU, their commissioner, and Humpy, who set this up in the off season. I think we had a fun time. I'm glad we were able to come out on top, but this was a fun way to build some lore in this game we play, and uh, I think that the CFC has a lot of interesting storylines that'll play out towards the end of the season, so it should be fun to watch. And thanks CSU and all the CFC for playing us this week. It was a lot of fun.
Definitely. Look forward to doing something like this again. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Despite what the ticker says, you guys did pretty good, especially better than most people expected. So,
oh yeah,
you guys got some good wins. Good job. But yeah, good time.
Now the propaganda machine will roll on. Thought it'd be a good time since out of conference play is officially over for this season. Let's look at the final standings, and would you look at that? Look who's in first place. We're very proud of what our conference has been able to do, and it's been everybody. It's been Chatty, it's been Slowlo, it's been Ampersand, it's been me, it's been the other 10 members of the conference as well. I'm glad to have this group of people that we're able to chat with and have fun with, and the cards fell in our favor this season, and I'm happy about that. People don't talk about the America East as much as they should have. They're coming in second, 29-19, above 600 in their win percentage. And then another big storyline is, the Ivy got off to a really slow start, but they came back with a vengeance and took their challenge against the MVC, came out victorious, and ended up above 500. And so we kind of have a little bit of a tier system here. You got the Ace Sun, you got the AE, Southland, Ivy, sort of making up your power conferences, and the CAA is right behind there too. They've made some noise as well, and still below the bottom half of the conferences, they still have some great teams as well. But this is how it shaped up. And do you guys have any takes on what's transpired?
I'll just say I was surprised at the end of the season to see that the CFC finished with a worse out of conference record than the Mid Atlantic, a conference where I don't think anybody truly knows what's going on. So I was surprised to see that. I can't tell if that's bad on the CFC's part or good on the Max part, but overall, I'm surprised to see the way the Big Sky fared and the MVC for that matter. But props to the Ivy, started off really poorly week 1 and week 2, turned it around in a challenge that I don't think a lot of people thought that the MVC was going to lose. So good on the Ivy for making those wins count. A lot of those teams are now in the playoff conversation.
Yeah, Ivy turning around what they did is impressive. I think we have a little bit of a changing the guard. We'll see if it lasts multiple seasons. But we weren't anywhere close to being this good last season out of conference. I don't think America East was particularly good, and same with Southland. I'm not sure about those. I'm not exactly sure about those two, but I don't think definitely weren't this good last season. While Big Sky, Missouri Valley, Delta all kind of fell back. They're now all below 500, which is surprising to me. The CAA is right there, ready. Like, I think next season will definitely be top 3 probably. They're ready to make a jump. So we'll see if it lasts multiple seasons. But it looks like we have a little bit of a changing of the guard from how it's been the past couple seasons. So that's always nice. Get some new faces in there. But yeah, the Atlantic Sun, American East, both over 600 is impressive. We got over 650. And then again, Ivy, the way they turned it around is very impressive. I'm surprised they're able to get above 500, and getting up to 4th in winning percentage is nice.
Yeah. Looking at this, just I'm very thankful for the community we have in FCS, and I just think it's so cool how we have these sub communities as well in the conferences, and so we all have our friendly rivalries, and I just look at this and see other games happening, and you know, it reminds me of why this game's so much fun, because we got a lot of fun people that play it. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So switching gears here, we're going to move from out of conference records to in conference standings. We'll have Chatty run through the Dusk first.
Yeah, I get to do something. I don't know what to do, but I guess we got Ampersand at the top of the conference standings, and I think he's going to be the ones who are going to win the division. Especially, you've got wins over me, and I think, have you beaten UNA, or is that next week?
That's next week.
That's
Yeah.
next week.
Yeah.
But if you win that, I think you've got it locked down. And then Wally's next. And what can we say? 'Cause I don't know what to... Then we got Matt. And there's Matt. Hi, Matt. You're not here. But hi. And then there's little old me. Sitting there at 1-3. The sad. Then we got Smammy. Sitting there at 1-3 like me. Then we got Nut and Turk at 0-4. And I just did a terrible job, but whatever.
No, that was great. You know that one loss that Wally has came at your hands, I believe, right? So that could end up being a tiebreaker if all chaos ensues.
Chaos. We need to go down like 10 tiebreakers to figure out who wins.
Somehow Turk walks away.
Can we get the whole division to be 4-4?
Yeah. That's a dream.
Yeah, I just see, I do see a blueprint for chaos here, because you do have, it's kind of lonely at the top, but you look down at the bottom and you've got some, or in the middle, and you've got some really good teams that can challenge and can pull upsets and beat the top teams. So I don't think we're anywhere close to figuring out who's going to end up winning this. We do have a 4-0 squad there, but it's very flexible right now. Fluid. That's the word I'm looking for. Fluid.
Yeah.
I guess I'll go ahead and go through the Dawn as well, unless y'all want to discuss more. We can discuss more after we talk about the whole thing.
You got Dawn.
Yeah. Bethune-Cookman, 4-0, number 1 in the country, number 1 in the conference, number 1 in the Dawn. Then we've got a two-way tie between Kennesaw State and Campbell at 3-1. We've got a three-way tie for 4th place. Mercer, Jacksonville, Stetson, 2-2. And then in the rear, sadly, is our dear Slolo, Florida A&M, 1-3. They are not 0-4, thankfully. 1-3 is fine. So yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to point out one thing, that Slow actually thought that the American East, tri-state, he thought that the American East Metro, let me see, New England division, sorry. So I just want to mention that on this Iron Trade show. Got to give the Dawn some love. I still think they're the strongest division in the league.
Is the American East New England? And I said they had an argument. I think Dawn is still the better division, but it's pretty close because American East, every team is above 500. So that's just a crazy division. They don't. We have an 8-0 and a 7-1 in the division, so I think that's what pushes us over the top. And then Mercer at 6-2. But somehow getting everybody above 500 is crazy. I think they were carrying the American East out of conference record that we saw in the last slide. But yeah, it's a close race between for the best division, I think.
Yeah, What do you say? They're the class of the league, and I mean, I've come these next committee rankings that get released. I can see at least 4 teams, if not 5, depending on what the committee says about Campbell's loss and Chatty's win. Could potentially be 5 with first 4 out, or 6 if we play our cards right in these first release.
I'm thinking it's definitely 6 because you've got Bethune-Cookman, KSU, Campbell, Mercer. I think those are all definitely in right now. I think Campbell's still riding pretty high. And you've got Alabama A&M, and I really do think Chatty is going to be in the top 25 this week. So I feel like it's a shoe-in for 6, but I may be wrong.
We have a guaranteed 4 in probably the top 15. Ampersand, Bethune-Cookman, KSU, and Mercer. I think all of them 6 and 2 or better. I think all 4 of them will probably be in the top 15. And then it's Campbell, Stetson, and Chatty all seeing exactly where they fall based on how good their wins are and all that. It'll be interesting to see what the committee thinks. Yeah.
Moving along, we can get to the power rankings next. So I'll let you take the top 7.
Okay, so we got Bethune-Cookman holding top spot for yet another week, getting all 9 first-place votes, of course. Then we got Kennesaw State, Alabama A&M, Mercer, Campbell, Chatty, and Stetson.
And then for the bottom 7, we got UNA at 8, Samford, Florida A&M, all 3 teams 4 and 4. Then Jacksonville State, Jacksonville, Alabama State, and Tennessee State. East Tennessee State. I see, like you had mentioned, the 5, 6, 7, who is going to separate themselves out of that group. All 3 of those teams have very good shots of being in that large bid. And then also the next tier, the 3, 4, and 4 teams, 8, 9, and 10. Play spoiler, could definitely see either one of those. I mean, UNA has still very much a shot at winning the division. Same for 2. Florida and them can play spoiler to some of the big teams as well, and then get some big at-large wins.
You nailed it. I think the middle of this is really interesting. The bottom of the top half and the top of the middle half. UNA, I don't believe they moved from last week. I think they were 8 last week, but they're getting closer to that top half. With each win they gain, now 3 in a row. But like we said, the top half's really really strong with Stetson, Chattanooga, Campbell. In the bottom of the top half. It just takes a lot to reach that. So all of these somewhat bubble teams, it's going to be really fun to watch, like you said. But just to kind of preview what we're going to talk about in the preview, I'm really interested to see how either the top will get solidified or the top will get shaken up after this week. So we'll see.
Chaos. Everybody cheers for chaos. We just want to see it blow up.
And see 7 teams make the playoffs from the ASUN. But
oh yes, please.
I see the humor there.
Do you have any opinions on this, Chatty?
He's speechless.
Nope.
He's been rendered speechless. I can't blame him.
All right, so moving right along to the next segment, we will have the ASUN Player of the Week. For this one is going to go out to Pepe Sylvia. Shout out to Uncle Rico's magnificent quarterback play, 31 of 40, 551 passing yards, 8 touchdowns, 1 interception. This has to be one of the more prolific stat lines that you'll probably ever see out of one player. So shout out to Rico and Mr. Sylvia, the sophomore quarterback, number 3, looks remarkably like Charlie Day with his name on the wall. So mad props to Pepe and the Mercer Bears, who needed every touchdown to secure that victory this week.
Great job, Rico. Yeah. Unbelievable.
All right. And then next, we'll move along to the Sunny D of the week. This one goes to Samford Bulldogs. A bit of a surprise this week. I think a lot of other teams were, I think a lot of teams going into this week thought that they had a pretty good beat on the CFC. I'm happy to see Samford get this award versus a 5-3 Davidson team, no less. 248 yards allowed, 1 forced turnover, 14 points allowed. Pretty prolific offense that they shut down. So really excited to see Samford kind of make this move and traditionally an offensive-based attack. Excited to see the defense kind of get some looks here, and maybe this could be the turning point and where he kind of gets everything working together in one fluid motion and uses the defense to get a couple more wins before the end of the season.
Yeah. Nice defense. We had some teams let up less points, but pretty much all of those didn't get through the first half. So nice defense for Samford. Only allowing 14 is pretty good in this game. So good job.
Yeah. Full game, decent opponent. Pretty good.
Yeah. And then we'll move right into our last segment, the pick'em games for this week. Not nearly as many as this out of conference week. Our first of the last 4 conference games of the season. Get right into it.
You want to update our? We can. I've got a little widget up here showing our standings throughout the season. Ampersand's doing the best. I think that's all we need to say. He's got 67%. He's doing the best at pick'em this week or this season, and we're all just trying to catch him.
I will say Slow had a remarkably good week this past week of chaos.
That's because he picked all ASUN teams.
Yes, I literally said all ASUN. So yeah, I went 9-5 this week, I believe, and that was probably my best week of the season. I'd have to go back and check. I'd been hanging around 500, so I'm expecting to go back to 500 now that we're back in conference because I have had a horrible job predicting these games. So that was fun.
So we'll start with our ASUN game of the week presented by Cookout. We do have another very high-profile game that's probably should get the FCS game of the week. So we'll turn our attention to Stetson and Mercer, both 2 teams that might be ranked. Probably Mercer definitely will. We're not so sure about Stetson yet. Stetson 5-3, Mercer 6-2, both 2-2 in conference. Desperately looking to get a foot up on the other in the division that is just cashing checks and taking names. I'm really excited to see this one, how it plays out. Mercer threw for over 550 yards this past week, and Stetson's an option-based attack. Rico loves to switch it up and keep it balanced on offense, so I wonder how that's going to play here. I think in games versus Stetson, turnovers are always huge. So if Rico can limit those turnovers, get an early score, kind of throw Stetson off her game, I think he can get a victory here, and I think he actually does. I think it's a 3-point victory, 24-21, grinded out kind of game. I think Pepe Sylvia has another work of art up his sleeve. I think Mercer wins.
Yeah. So yeah, I forgot it was my turn. So this is how Mercer's schedule has played out so far this season. He won 2, and then he lost 1. He won 2, and then he lost 1. And then he won 2, and now we're here. I think that's enough for me to pick Stetson. I think the Hat's in a good mental state after a bad loss. I think she will be able to get the win here, and I'm a big Mercer believer, but I think they're stuck around that 8-4 range. They might not be able to get to 10-2, 9-3. But this is going to be a really great game. I think it's worthy of the top billing, and it should be close. Either team really could win it, and they're both strong. I'm going to go with Stetson, though.
3 weeks ago, I probably would have picked Stetson Texan Stetson to destroy Mercer in every possibly imaginable way, very painfully. But I think Mercer has a really, really good shot to win this one, and I think they do in a very close and very gritty game.
Oh, were you done? Yeah. All right, so Stetson is technically more desperate, but I think if Mercer wants to have a chance at winning the conference, they definitely need this win, like badly. They can't fall to, I don't know what I've already forgot what their in-conference record is, but picking up a third loss, or 2-2. So picking up a third loss in conference will definitely take them out of the running. When you got Bethune-Cookman and Kennesaw State above you, so they're both pretty desperate. They both really need this game. I'm gonna go Mercer. I'm a big believer in Uncle Rico. Been picking him most of the season, pretty much all the season, I think. So I'm gonna keep it with Mercer. But it'll be a close one. It'll be a good one. With these two teams. So glad we got it on A-Sun Game of the Week.
Next, we have Alabama A&M, myself versus ETSU. I'm going to abstain from voting for this game. My only comment is both of us. I will admit myself. I've been in the past three of the last 4 weeks. I think both of us have had trouble finishing games, at least into the very end of the fourth quarter. I hope that changes this week. I think Nutt's a valiant coach. It should be exciting, and definitely not one that I can look past to UNA next week. Nutt's a coach he's going to give me everything he's got.
Yeah, this is 4-0 versus 0-4. I think the factor you mentioned is very real. If this game doesn't get active, it's really got a shot to go either way. But I really think you've got the strength on your side, and there's no way I'm picking against Alabama A&M here. So give me the division leader.
I think the AMP rolls along just fine. I mean, no problem this week.
We got a broom. Yeah, I'm sweeping it. I think it's going to be Alabama A&M as well. But should be an interesting one. But Nutt has not been great in conference, so we'll see if he can turn it around here. But I'm not predicting it right now. Next game is my game, and I went against Turk last season. I think I won. Fairly sure I won, but I don't remember exactly how it went. But yeah, I think it'll be good. I think it'll be a good one. He got a win to get back on track this season, but I'm also hoping to come away with the win, get back above 500, because I'd like to not end with a 6-6 record this year.
I'm going to go with Florida A&M here. I know Alabama State had a big win this past week over Western Carolina. My bad. Little known fact, I guess little known stat, Florida A&M, since Slow became coach, has just feasted on Dusk opponents. I'm pretty sure you're undefeated in your time in Florida A&M against Dusk opponents. You beat ETSU, Jacksonville State, and Alabama State last year. I don't think that changes here. Or did they win last year?
Well, Alabama State was in the Dawn last season, but now they're in the Dusk. So, but yeah, gotcha. I beat Jacksonville State, and I forget who I think I beat Samford.
Yeah,
I forget. Yeah, but and then I beat ETSU earlier in the season. So, I think I guess
I don't think that changes here. I think Florida A&M gets a big win to get season back on track in their division. I really just can't trust Turk in conference, as sad as it is to say. Just give me the Rattlers.
Yeah, big win by Turk last week, but the theme of this season in A-Sun seems to be the dusk beats the dawn in each chance we get. So I'm going to go with Florida A&M. I think they're more on top of things, and I think they'll win.
Ooh, I really wanted to pick Turk. I really do, but I think Slolo gets this one. I think it'll be close, but I think he'll get it.
Oh, also, and I just looked it up, and yes, I did. I'm 1-0 against Sanford, so yeah, I must have beat him last season.
You're feasting on them.
Yeah.
So next we have probably from a betting man, the FCS game of the week. Perennial number one, Bethune-Cookman versus a potentially top 5. If you looked at my coach's poll this week, Kennesaw State team. I mean, these two teams have been on a collision course all season. One loss in between them, and man, I'm really excited for this game. This is a playoff, second, third round of a playoff caliber game between two potent offenses and two pretty stout defenses. Teams that have really, played to the level of champions this whole year. That being said, Pelo started a little bit of a slide last year during week 9, and I've been a huge proponent of KSU's balance all year. They've got a great quarterback who can sling the ball and run the ball really well. I think Judge gets on top early, and Pelos plays some catch up and makes some stops on defense that he just can't make. I think it's a 1-score game, but I think KSU wins here. Calling the upset.
Yeah, I'm not going to pick, but I'll give some more insight. This is a game that I've had circled on my calendar the whole season. This last year, I was able to come out with a victory, 36-28. It was right after Pelo had lost to Slolo in triple overtime or whatever, and so it really launched me into the division lead, and it's sort of the same way this year. I'm doing a little bit better this season, but I control my destiny and can launch myself into the division lead here. But honestly, I'm just looking forward to playing Pelo. It's always fun, and it's the start of a gauntlet of the schedule for me. I've got Bethune-Cookman, Mercer, and Campbell coming up, and then finishing with North Alabama. So we've really got to start off strong here in the back half, and it should be fun. I hope we have eyes on us, and I hope everyone enjoys it.
Oh, can y'all hear me still?
Yep.
Okay, it just told me my mic wasn't picking. Okay, whatever. I really don't know who to pick here. I really don't know. I think Judge has a really good shot at winning this one. I think he sort of plays against what Pelo does. I think Judge will win this one in a very close game. Very close.
So I'm conflicted. One, Bethune-Cookman has been proving me wrong for the past 5 weeks. I keep picking against them, and they keep winning. So I don't know if I want to pick against them again. But I also put money on Kennesaw State to win. So I don't know. I've also since Bethune-Cookman broke my prediction of nobody will go 8-0, I'm kind of hoping they go undefeated until they reach me, and then I get to beat them. That would be fun. But I don't think I'm going to give Judge the sweep. I think I'm going to pick Bethune-Cookman. I think this will pretty much solidify Bethune-Cookman at the top. I think a win over Mercer, I don't know exactly which week it is, but a win over Mercer would completely solidify it, because if Bethune-Cookman wins here, they'd have to lose their last 3 games for Kennesaw State to have a chance. So, but I'm going to pick Bethune-Cookman. I think Pelo. It looks like Pelo's going to lock up the division this season. So, yeah, I will stop picking against Pelo. So maybe my record will be a little bit better. This is probably the week he loses, but we'll see.
Next on the docket, we got Campbell versus Jacksonville. Jacksonville kind of limping out of this game versus Elon from last week, losing by 20 or 36, I believe. Campbell also coming off a loss to Wofford. Both teams having something to prove here. Jacksonville looking to play a little bit of spoiler to Campbell's at-large bid right now. I think Campbell needs his win more. And Campbell's not the kind of coach who's going to overlook, a 2-6 JU team. Perp has been known to cause havoc already this year, and I think Campbell is he's ready, and I think that they win, much to Purple's dismay.
Yeah, both of these teams tend to do the opposite of what I predict them to do. Both of them all season have been giving me fits when I pick them. So I'm just gonna go with the team with the better record here with Campbell. I think they're 3-1 and they've got a lot to play for in the division. Still alive for sure. Need a little bit of help, but I'm gonna go with the Camels.
I think Perp is going to win this game, and he's not just going to win it. He's going to win it by 3 or 4 touchdowns. He's going to dominate Camel. You heard it here first.
Okay, I thought I was going to have to ruin 2 sleeps in a row. I also have Purple. I don't think it's going to be as big of a blowout as Chatty, but I think Purple is going to be a little bit of I think Campbell's going to be 6-6 again this season. Well, I don't think he was last season, but he's the average coach apparently, and so I want to have him. I think he's 6-6, and I'm gonna pick Jacksonville here. I think he's just ready to get back at it. He's 2-2 in conference play. He hasn't been bad, and I think he's ready to jump back out there, get a win, and ruin someone's chances at the playoffs.
He's got a gauntlet left in the season 2. Campbell, Stetson, Mercer, Florida. I do not envy Perp's remaining games. Even just going back, Gardner Webb, Kennesaw State, Bethune-Cookman, Elon, Campbell, Stetson, Mercer, Florida. That's like a brutal 8 games in a row.
It seems everybody has a brutal last half of the conference. I get an easy game, big air quotes, you guys can't see me, with Alabama State, and then I got Campbell, Bethune-Cookman, and Jacksonville. But yeah, it's just the A-Sun's been so tough. Everybody's got a gauntlet in the last 4.
And next we have
it's gonna be a fun couple weeks for everybody.
We got Jacksonville State versus Chatty. If you had asked me about this game maybe a couple of weeks ago, I probably would have leaned towards Matt, but I have the feeling we've seen a new Matt, maybe not for the better. Over the past couple of weeks, I wasn't expecting him to lose to that game versus Gardner Webb. Give me Chatty here. I think, Chatty's offense has been potent all year. Going to continue versus Matt's 5-2. Going to take the top off the defense a couple times. A lot of passing yards from Brian Markston at QB. Give me Chatty here, and I think that this could be a bit of a changing of the guard in the Dust division as well. I know Matt's kind of been one of the big dogs. I think Chatty kind of steals the throne here a little bit, and we see a little bit of a changing of the guard in that division.
Yeah, those are the same exact themes I was going to hit upon. We've been expecting Jacksonville State to rebound, but looking back at their schedule now that there are 8 games to look at, they're 3-5. They had one really good win against Incarnate Word, and then the other 2 were against Alabama State and ETSU. The ETSU game being 7-0, a really short game. So that doesn't breed a lot of confidence. On the other hand, I was one of the longest holdouts on Chattanooga. The history. I haven't been a big believer in them, but they did a really good job of bouncing back, ending a 2-game losing streak, and really taking care of business against a team that is really good and has a great shot of winning their conference in Charleston Southern. They've played with really good efficiency this season, and I think I'm going to go with Chattanooga as well.
45-0. Do y'all know what's special about that?
Oh yeah, I
Do you know
remember
what's special?
Yeah, I remember last year.
last year.
We're going to gloss over the fact that he may have saved my fake football career. We are out for revenge, and we are going to get it. That's all I got to say.
You guys say changing of the guard, like Chattanooga has the division title while Jacksonville State doesn't.
That's fair.
Chattanooga had a down year last season, but they're back, and it's nice. I think just some outside stuff has gotten Jacksonville State this season. I'm picking Chatty. I think Jacksonville State's going to have to bounce back next season. I think they're out for this season, sadly. But yeah, I got Chatty. I think that's some brooms. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, we got a second sweep. We got a second sweep this week. So, but yeah, I got Chatty over Jacksonville State.
Crazy to think that we were just talking about Matt's sweeping Matt against Cal Poly, a top 10 team, a couple weeks ago. And now we're choosing Chatty over Matt in a sweep. Changing the guard, man, I'm telling you. And in this last game, Samford versus UNA, 2 4-4 squads. Samford 1-3 in conference, Wally 3-1 in conference. I don't really have much of an analytical perspective behind this game, except for the fact that I really want Samford to win. So I'm gonna manifest that right now. Give me Samford.
Yeah, so I don't have much analytical to say either, but I do know that Samford is Orlando Champagne and Wally is Wally Gromit, and they are both on the New York Mets and MLR. So I always love seeing these type of matchups where you know they interact in different spaces. But this is also just a huge game. I thought it was also worthy of game of the week status. Samford's 1-3, but they have a chance to spoil things for North Alabama. I'm kind of stepping out there and endorsing North Alabama as taking my place as the team that gets off to a really slow start and then just goes on a tear. I'm not saying they'll win the division, but I'm going to say they're going to keep winning, and I'm going to go with the Lions, UNA.
All right.
Speak it into existence. Sorry, go ahead.
Now, my division chances are very, very small, but I need Smammy to win this game if I want any shot at the division to get UNA out of the way. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think Walla's going to win this one pretty easily.
Oof.
Wally's been taking care of it in conference. Samford's been a little disappointing in conference. I think North Alabama's figured it out. I think. I think they figured it out. I think they're going to keep going. I think they're going to put some more pressure on Ampersand, and we're going to have a fun game next week. So, yeah, I'm picking North Alabama here.
All right. Well, I saved the sweep on that one. That is the last game of our pick'em. I think that's all we have. Chatty, I wanted to thank you for being on the show. It's always awesome to have new guests. Excellent perspective you provided, and go beat Matt for us this week. Get him off my back, and hopefully we'll see you in these rankings this week. I'm from the committee.
Fun being on, except for all those times I messed up, but that's okay.
You're great, man.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for listening.
Awesome.
Let's have a great week 9.
Yeah, we got some great games this week. Let's make them entertaining.
Let the chaos begin.
Chaos!
All right, y'all. See you. Have a great week.
Thanks, guys. See ya.